There is a battle being fought right now, and it is not on a battlefield of soil and steel. It is not fought with tanks or titles or applause. It is fought in silence, in the unseen chambers of your mind, in the private conversations you have with yourself when no one is watching, in the split second between fear and action, in the fragile space between doubt and decision. That is where destinies are written. That is where empires are born. That is where lives either shrink into comfort or expand into greatness. You want to change your life? Then understand this. The world you see is only a mirror. It reflects the war within you. If you are divided inside, your outer world will fracture. If you are disciplined inside, your outer world will align. If you are courageous inside, opportunities will begin to recognize you. Win the war within, and the world follows. Most people try to conquer the world before conquering themselves. They chase money without mastering their mindset. They chase recognition without building resilience. They chase success without defining what success even means. And so they run in circles, exhausted, blaming circumstances, blaming luck, blaming the economy, blaming other people's advantages. But history tells a different story. When Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb, the world saw failure. He saw refinement. When Abraham Lincoln lost elections again and again before leading a divided nation, the world saw defeat. He saw preparation. When Henry Ford was mocked for trying to build an affordable automobile, the world saw foolish ambition. He saw inevitability. They all fought the same enemy, doubt. And they won. The war within is the war between the voice that whispers, "You can't," and the voice that declares, "I will." It is the tension between comfort and calling, between who you are and who you are meant to become. And make no mistake, this war will not be won by accident. It demands intention. It demands clarity. It demands discipline sharper than steel. First, you must confront your mindset. Your mind is not just a tool. It is a commander. It issues orders to your actions, your habits, your focus. If your commander is weak, your life will reflect that weakness. If your commander is powerful, focused, and decisive, your life will move with force. Every thought you entertain is either reinforcing your strength or feeding your limitations. There are thoughts that build you, thoughts of possibility, thoughts of purpose, thoughts that say, "This setback is temporary." And there are thoughts that sabotage you, thoughts that say, "Maybe I'm not good enough." Thoughts that say, "People like me don't succeed." Thoughts that whisper, "Play it safe." The war begins by recognizing these voices and choosing which one you will obey. Belief is the first weapon, not blind optimism, not empty affirmations, but belief rooted in decision. The kind of belief that Walt Disney held when he was fired for lacking imagination. The kind of belief that transforms ridicule into fuel. Belief is not about ignoring reality. It is about shaping it. It is about declaring that your current circumstances are not your final chapter. Clarity is your strategy. You cannot win a war without knowing what you are fighting for. What do you want? Not what sounds impressive. Not what would make others proud. What burns inside you? What kind of life would demand your highest self? Vague dreams produce vague results, but clear vision creates magnetic force. When your mind sees the target vividly, your actions begin to align. Instinctively, close your eyes and see it, the discipline, the freedom, the impact, the wealth, the mastery. See it until it feels real, because the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. It accepts the images you feed it and begins to work relentlessly toward them. That is not mysticism. That is power, but vision without discipline is fantasy. Discipline is the daily proof of belief. It is waking up when you don't feel like it. It is doing the work when motivation fades. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Discipline is how you tell yourself, "I am serious." Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you win a small battle. And those small victories compound into unshakable confidence. Action is where the war turns in your favor. Massive, decisive, relentless action. Not waiting for perfect conditions. Not waiting for approval. Not waiting for fear to disappear. Fear will not disappear. You move with it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the dominance of purpose over fear. Every bold action rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. And as you execute, you will face resistance. Obstacles will rise. Criticism will come. Plans will collapse. That is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that you are advancing. Resistance is proof of progress. Steel is forged in fire, not comfort. Character is forged in adversity, not applause. Resilience becomes your shield. Adaptability becomes your edge. When circumstances change, you adjust, but you do not surrender. When one door closes, you build another. When you fail, you analyze. When you stumble, you rise faster than before. The war within is not won in a single moment of triumph. It is won in repeated moments of refusal to quit. Gratitude anchors you. Not passive gratitude. Active gratitude. The kind that sees every challenge as training. The kind that recognizes how far you have already come. Gratitude keeps bitterness from poisoning your focus. It keeps ego from blinding your growth. It reminds you that every breath is an opportunity. And as you master these inner battles, belief, clarity, discipline, action, resilience, something extraordinary happens. The world begins to respond differently. Opportunities appear where obstacles once stood. People sense your conviction. Doors open not because you begged, but because you became ready. Understand this deeply. The outer world does not lead. It follows. It follows your standards. It follows your energy. It follows your expectations. When you expect mediocrity, you tolerate it. When you expect excellence, you demand it, first from yourself. The war within never truly ends. There will always be new levels, new fears, new doubts. But with every victory, you become stronger, more self-aware, more intentional, more dangerous in the most powerful way, dangerous to limitation.so. When doubt speaks again, let it find a different version of you, a version forged by discipline, anchored in purpose, unshaken by temporary setbacks, a version that understands that the battlefield of the mind determines the outcome of life. Stand tall in your own thoughts. Guard them, direct them, train them, command them. Because once you win the war within, hesitation turns into momentum. Scarcity turns into creation. Chaos turns into clarity, and the world, the opportunities, the recognition, the wealth, the influence, it will not need to be chased.